Hello and welcome. We are back again from Outlook office in Delhi, and we are here to talk about a very special issue, and it's our year-ender double issue, and here it is. And what we have done is we have decided to go with the issue of the year. Like Time Magazine, our role model, does every year, at the end of every year, does Person of the Year. We are at Outlook thought that we should be more substantive, and we decided to look at what is the single most biggest issue that dominated the agenda through the past 12 months. And to us, there were quite a few in the reckoning for us. We had dissent, we had farmers' distress, we had Supreme Court ruling on LGBT, decriminalizing homosexuality. We had this watershed Me Too moment, which hit the Indian shores a couple of months ago. But amongst all this, there was a consensus that something which was very, very substantive but least spoken about. What was that issue? And we have picked up on that. It's Outlook's issue of the year, and the issue that we have chosen is menstruation. I am Rohan Banerjee, the editor of Outlook, and joining me to discuss about this year-ended issue is Sunil Menon, our managing editor, and Arshia Dhar, our reporter with us. Generally, I think I'm extremely mighty pleased with this issue. I think we really need to be very, very
justly sort of satisfied with what we've done actually, and around we are in one sense breaking a taboo. I mean, but what I hope we have done is that we have broken the taboo not with violence, but kind of in a gentle way, so as
it's
to
very
kind
subtle.
of very subtle, and sort of so as to kind of render the subject amenable to a little bit more positive evaluation and acceptable as something normal. I was around all the uncomfortable discussions around the topic because this is something that flowed under the big controversies like Sabarimala and all that, but not much spoken about, occasionally erupting. But around all the uncomfortable, I was kind of reminded of the old sort of slogan from the 60s, the personal is political. And if someone had difficulties understanding what that meant, this issue would be menstruation is something that is so intimately connected with all of humanity, billions of people out there, but never gets spoken about in a public space.
And in India, 48.5% of the population are women, and we don't talk about this.
Absolutely.
Everyone, this is a natural biological phenomenon. Everyone goes through this. There is so much of ignorance, taboo, prejudices associated with it. Nobody talks about it. And post Sabarimala verdict by the Supreme Court, large parts of the country were in upheaval, and menstruation was the underpinning theme behind it.
That's
but
right.
nobody really talked about it. So we have taken it up, and just look at this cover. It's such a excellent, wonderful, arresting cover.
I ran across this accidentally on Facebook because there was an event in Kerala, a kind of a protest on the subject of menstruation, which is titled Arpo Arthavam, Hooray Menstruation. So this was drawn for that by an artist, and she has was very happy to.
And the line here is such a powerful line. It's a very haunting line. I bleed for life. And for me personally, like we have been this particular issue, because it has fantastic articles. It really breaks down the issue of menstruation from various angles, and we'll take you through all that. But for me, while we were discussing what should be the issue, there was brainstorming, there was back and forth. Of course, there were disagreements amongst us. Someone said no this, someone said this. But for me, the defining moment came when I read a small little 2-para story that a girl in Tanjavur in Tamil Nadu, Vijaya, she was 12 years old. She had her first menstrual period. And because of ignorance, taboo, prejudices, whatever you may call it, her family banished her to the shed outside her house. She lived there for 3 days until a cyclone came, Cyclone Gaja, in November, and the shed collapsed, and Vijaya died. Can you imagine this? A girl dying because she has her periods? For me, that was it.
I'm actually very sort of happy that you responded to the theme in that way. I mean, I came across lots of instances of reluctance One was like, this the Supreme Court verdict you talked about. I kind of heard a talk by Indira Jaising, which we have carried in a small excerpt, which is really sort of a fascinating talk. But the key thing there was that she said she met a rival lawyer who was supposed to be hearing the case, and he ran across him somewhere on the corridors, and he said, no, there's no chance I will go to the court and talk about menstruation and blood. I can't stand blood.
Word, and apparently in the court, no lawyer will.
And she asked him, like, but what about murder? You appear in murder cases all the time. So what?
And you talk about blood,
and
but not about menstruation.
That's right.
So how does this issue? I think this is a reference, material for everyone. Like
yes.
10 years from now, anyone wants to know something about menstruation, this is the go-to issue.
That's right.
Because it has everything.
That's right.
So
that's right. Yeah,
who are the ones who have written for us?
Yes,
we have some of the biggest names.
And some very fantastic essays. Nalini Natarajan has written the main essay. She takes you through a kind of a historical span about where and the visuals we have used there. With Nepal, the Tanjavur instance, more or less the same thing happens in Nepal. Where the practice was just recently banned, where women had to spend their nights in an outhouse called Chopadi. And it's just last year that they actually finally brought out a legislation, and she goes through, Nalini's piece goes through there are personal reminiscences from her early childhood when she sees women in the family disappear suddenly when she's a young girl, and she cannot mysterious disappearances from the stage
for 5 days, 6 days.
Yeah, and they retreat into a room, and then they come out, and after 5 days, fully bathed. And so, how those kind of things are actually intimate. How menstruation is so intimately related to, our religion. In fact, all our religions. The idea of ritual purities and pollution. Pollution being the sort of antithesis to purity, is central to Hinduism, and to caste, and in Christianity there is, it is considered a sin. It's considered as a mark of the first sin, original sin, and that has actually bled into medical theories. And we have a piece by Sarah Reed that talks about, from Aristotle, Avicenna, of the medical history. In the history of medicine, exactly how people have thought about it, mostly men. And a few women she picks out, but all of them were still imbued with this large negativity around the subject. So we had to wait till the 20th century almost for biological sciences to crack what exactly is going on. But it's a topic that is still debated even within biology, as the Ambrish Sathwik essay points out. There are various schools of thought. Is there menstrual harmony or not? What is its role in evolution? All kinds of things. So we have covered a kind of a broad history. We have covered medicine. We have covered actually the biggest part is art and culture. That is where we speak to ourselves. And
menstrual art.
Menstrual art. So menstrual art actually comes as a kind of a protest, because you have invisibilized it from the mainstream spaces. We have carried an ad from the 1950s of a sanitary napkin brand in the West, which it was called the product that dared not speak its name. So they could not mention what it was for. So it was called sort of modesty based advertising. That was the whole idea. And so it is only in the art in the 70s and 80s that artists, the slightly more radical artists, started breaking the taboo, and some of it has now come into the Indian field also. And Instagram, we were very, very surprised to learn that it had actually there's this very famous poet. Her poetry is another matter altogether, but she had put up on Instagram a photograph of herself, either herself or some other woman bleeding, and Instagram took it down, saying that there is a taboo and it breaks our code, which actually relates to nudity. There was a backlash, and then this folk art, if you come to that is the subject that
Would you like to talk about folk art and this menstruation?
Yeah, I mean, what is probably my biggest takeaway from the story that I've done, which talks about how folk art has mentions of menstruation in it from across India, is like Mr. Menon just mentioned, that today, despite the fact that social media has empowered us in a certain way, has given us more democratic, so-called democratic spaces to speak about things which we didn't speak about even 10 years earlier. It's so fascinating to see that folk art, which at least the ones that we've spoken about, most of them predates the social media age. So they had, started speaking about this even before social media came into being. And, for the fact that, even urban artists, people who come from, metropolitan cities and, from across the world, they have faced such immense backlash. Like Rupi Kaur, the poet, the Instagram poet we were just talking about, and also Aniket Mitra, this other artist who painted the goddess Durga on a sanitary napkin just 2 months ago and faced huge backlash, and Facebook had to take it down. So there is the censorship which is going on over there. But to just see that the folk arts have been so courageous, the artists from the interiors of the country, where, as one can imagine, the backlashes are probably going to be unimaginable. What kind of threats they might be getting for, it might be threat to their life even. But despite that, they took the onus on themselves to go out and talk about it through art, which of course creates an alternate space for you to talk about things which you otherwise don't get to talk about. So menstruation is of course one of that, which is so central to the idea of life itself, and it's so intrinsic, and it is such a political thing because the woman's body is a very political thing in any case, and I think the menstruation issue really highlights that. So, that's something that I've really taken from this issue. Of course, the fact that there are these art forms like Baul, Lavani, and this very interesting book that we've spoken about called Shareer Ki Jankari, which was brought out in the 1980s by Kali for Women, the feminist publishing company by Urvashi Butalia and Ritu Menon. And it's out of print now, unfortunately. But this fascinating book, which was completely engineered,
by
drawings in it, village women, 70 to 75 women from Rajasthan's villages in and around Bhateri. And it's almost like not just a manual, a menstruation manual, but it also talks about everything which surrounds the cycle of menstruation, like how physical abuse, in the interiors, how that can create stress and affect you, sexual health, what you can do to understand if you have ovarian cancer, all of this, which is fascinating. It's coming out in the 1980s.
It's actually, to be truly, frankly speaking, truly this is an eye-opener issue. And as I was reading it, it's so packed with so much of information. I thought that I know quite a bit about menstruation, but this was so informative, I honestly got goosebumps.
Yes.
And we have captured lots of voices, and very interestingly, we have a piece from a 9-year-old girl who's just had her first period.
Yes.
And we have left it unedited. Trust me, we have not edited, we have not put anything in her mouth. It's her experience, she's talking straight to you. So this is, we are extremely proud of this issue, and I would say that this is one of the best issues possible. So would you agree?
Yeah, I would certainly agree. I'm very extremely satisfied with having been able to do it, in fact. And on the subject of, the taboo and folk, not just folk art, but folk religions, in fact.
Absolutely.
It goes back to our mother goddesses, the oldest fertility cults, which are so central to our religions, actually, and coming to Durga, in fact, I wanted to point out that, that traditionally we have goddesses who menstruate.
Yes.
Okay, and we have festivals all over the eastern belt.
Rojo, Orissa.
Rojo, where the
everyone celebrates.
The earth is considered to be menstruating, and so the woman's body, the human body, and nature are very intimately connected in that worldview, and it's an entirely positive evaluation that they place on the subject, which is so contrary to the the great kind of revulsion that people now bring to the table.
Something that has polluted over
yes.
That's so anyway. So great issue, and apart from this, we also have photo feature on stunning pictures of this year.
Yes.
And we have another surprise for you. We do mistakes, right, in the magazine, and we have.
I can own to some of them.
So we have also showcased some of the bloomers that we have done over a period of time. Some crazy mistakes that we do, and so sometimes it's good to laugh at yourself. So great issue. Do pick up this copy. And having worked so hard, we at Outlook are going to take a break for a week and see you next year. Thank you.
Thank you.